Presence is a very special film, but also a very specific film, which is why I think it has been overlooked and even forgotten. This film pretty much has no social media presence. When I look at film discourse on social media, and I'm pretty connected to that sort of thing, this film is nowhere to be found. Professional movie critics, of course, have talked about it, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the general consensus of the audience. The critics liked it, they gave it good scores, but according to my observations, when I look at what audiences have to say, I think most of them would say it's mid. And I think that's due to mismarketing. I think they got something they didn't expect, or this film found the wrong audience. On paper, this film is a classic haunted house ghost story. A family moves into a new neighborhood and they start to experience strange things. And then they must come to terms with the fact that there is an otherworldly entity. And on top of that, this movie is filmed from the perspective of the ghost itself. And the marketing did a good job utilizing that, marketing it as a terrifying film, seeing it from the perspective of a ghost. And I mean, yeah, those trailers looked really eerie, those posters were really eerie. And the horror community definitely got interested because it seemed like you're watching something forbidden, like you're watching something from the perspective of a killer, so to speak. Much like A Violent Nature. But unlike that film, this marketing was misleading. The reality is, this is not a horror film. This is an emotional family drama told within the confines of a horror trope. The ghost isn't here to harm or possess anyone. It's a confused spirit who is just observing the family and has a special connection to the youngest member of the family, Chloe, who is currently grieving the loss of her best friend to drug overdose. So rather than watching an edge-of-your-seat horror film about a family surviving this supernatural phenomenon, you're watching a slow family drama about a ghost observing this dysfunctional family fall apart while having a special connection to Chloe. As I was browsing audience reactions in preparation for this video, I saw that a lot of people either said that the film was nothing more than a gimmick, or it was just a boring film. So here are my two counter arguments to that. To me, what makes the film so special is that the concept of the film is more than just a gimmick, but it is actually quite profound. Usually a shot can be appreciated simply based on its photography, or it makes you understand the artistry of the director and why he wanted to compose this shot. But here, every single camera movement means something because it's the perspective of the ghost. The actions, how long it lingers on something, or when it kind of turns away from something. All that informs what it's thinking, what it's feeling. Just that alone is so interesting. That's not just a gimmick. That informs the storytelling, and that recontextualizes the film later once you learn who the ghost is. And that plot twist, I think, is very effective. The film does a good job of giving you potential theories. Right off the bat, in the beginning, they say the house is 100 years old. And I mean, like I said, classic ghost story, so someone must have died here, someone was murdered here. And then Chloe thinks, because of her grieving, that it's her friend who died. So then that's obviously a very good theory because this ghost is protecting Chloe. So that's a compelling theory. But then later, a psychic says that the entity must be tied to this house and probably died in this house. So then that kind of conflicts with that theory. So I feel like the film did a really good job of just keeping you guessing, like, wait, what could the connection be, you know? And once you learn the truth, it makes perfect sense with some other information we got earlier in the film. And it completely recontextualizes the film, as I said. And it makes a second viewing so much richer because now you truly understand this character or the ghost. I mean, the cinematography itself is a character because it is the ghost. And to me, when a film could recontextualize everything with one scene, that's so powerful. And both viewings, it sends shivers down my spine. And I think that's what makes this film a masterpiece because there is just such mastery in that itself. And I think it's so fresh, so original to this horror genre, but also just as a family psychological drama. As for the film being boring, to me, this is an art film. So I think maybe just some audiences just aren't used to this sort of thing and they're only used to mainstream cinema. But I mean, the film is only an hour and 20 minutes, so quite short. This isn't a Tarkovsky film, you know, where it's just so disconnected and so dreamlike that you don't know what's going on. The writing is a bit vague and it's kind of divided into chapters. There's a lot of oneers in this film, and each oneer is essentially a chapter, but they're divided by abrupt cuts. So the passage of time is really vague. So like, I don't know if this film takes place over the course of a year or maybe 3 months. It's kind of vague, but I think there's enough information to where you get to know the family, you understand their motivations, and you understand even subplots that are going on. For example, the mother is involved with something illegal, like some tax write-offs, or I don't know what exactly she's doing. It's not important to the plot, but it's just adding to the family dysfunction. There's technically never a payoff with that storyline, but there's enough information to where you see a through line and you see that, oh, this is resolved now. So this issue is in the past now. And some people might have an issue with that and see that as lazy writing. But to me, it's like, it's not important. It's just enough information to make this family feel real and to make us understand, like I said, the dysfunction. And in a way, that's kind of an incredible feat that in an hour and 20 minutes, we get all of this story. So to me, it's not really a big deal, but I can see how some people would find the film just boring because of that unconventional story structure. But as my thumbnail would suggest, I don't think this film is perfect. But to be honest, with most of the problems, I can get past it. It's not the biggest deal for me. Like I said, I still love this film a lot. I think first and foremost, the dialogue. I think the dialogue can be a little bit cheesy or cringe sometimes and surface level. Like sometimes characters say things that just feels unnatural or shocking. And then the other character that they're communicating with is just buys it. Like, oh, this is normal. And it's just kind of like, hold on, like this feels so weird, and it kind of takes you out. But certain characters are messed up or going through stuff. So in a way I can make sense of it, because it's like when you're not in the right headspace, you say some weird crap. So I could kind of understand it, but that's definitely like the biggest problem to me, some of the dialogue. And then there's some minor plot holes, but this one I could totally understand. This one I could make sense of it myself, because the ghost, as I said, is a protector to Chloe. But sometimes in specific moments, in big moments, the ghost doesn't do anything. So it's almost like plot armor, or like this has to happen so the plot can move forward. So, you know, like convenient writing, convenient storytelling. But without getting to spoilers, once you learn the truth of the ghost and you learn also some rules that they establish about, yeah, I don't want to get into spoilers. I could see how it makes sense. I could see how there's a logic to it that isn't spelled out to the audience, but perhaps in the mindset of the writers of David Nope and Steven Soderbergh, perhaps in their conversations, there is like a logic, there's rules to this ghost and what it can do. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this film and get people to watch it, get people to revisit it. It's on Amazon Prime right now, I believe. And yeah, I really do think this movie is worth everyone's time. It's short, as I said. And on top of everything I said, the film has an amazing atmosphere. It's not just the cinematography, but the house. The house is filled with lamps. And I love that. It adds for just such ambient, warm lighting with some dark, eerie shadows. But the eeriness is cozy because of the lighting, because of that warm lamps, as I said. And then the score. The score is this beautiful, somber piano. Just adds to like this cloud, to like this metaphoric cloud that's over this family. And I love it. It just feels like you're lamenting, like you're mourning. And yeah, absolutely love it. So I love this film. Check it out. Let me know your thoughts on the film. Have you seen it? And hopefully I've swayed you to watch the film. So let me know if I did that, and let me know your thoughts on the film after. Come back in the comments and let me know. Thanks for watching.